Thanks for joining me for I Have Love to Share. As we look at the story today, we will hear some of the most famous words of Jesus. Instead of giving people a long list of commands or rules to follow, Jesus gave only two. But to best follow these famous two commandments, we must begin with knowing how wonderful, loved, and important we are. As we prepare to learn more about having compassion for ourselves, let's begin with the compassion prayer. Place one hand on your head and one hand on your heart. Remember that we do this because compassion happens in our brains, but we feel it in our hearts. Repeat after me. Gentle One, thank you for your Spirit within us, who guides, encourages, and strengthens us. Help us see ourselves through your eyes, with love, kindness, and deep joy. May we love our bodies, treasure our hearts, and celebrate our spirits. Amen. Let's read together our Bible story for this week. Jesus and the disciples spent a lot of time in Jerusalem. One day he was at the temple, a place where people gathered to worship God, and he was teaching and telling stories. A lot of people listened eagerly, but many people had questions. The temple leaders and elders were unsure of him and asked, "Who gave you the power to do and say those things?" Some were jealous and wanted to trick him. So they asked, "Should people pay taxes?" Others were worried and asked him, "What happens in the resurrection and the afterlife?" Then, one temple leader was curious about Jesus. He saw that Jesus was wise and kind. He asked him which of God's laws, commandments, are most important. Jesus answered, "The first is the one that we all know. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." The temple leader could ask more. Jesus went on, "The second is love your neighbor as yourself. These two are the most important laws of God." I hope that as you move through the rest of the activities for this week, the coloring pages and the compassion in action, that you think back on these two commandments: love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself.